Do you believe the walls of your home can hold secrets? Secrets so chilling they refuse to stay quiet? This is a story that might make you question every sound you hear at night, every creak, every whisper. But before we dive in, let me ask, have you ever felt like you weren't truly alone, even when you should be? That's how it began for Mark and Lisa. Mark and Lisa were an ordinary couple who had just bought their dream home. It was a charming old house, nestled in a quiet neighborhood, with just enough history to make it feel special. The kind of place where you'd imagine raising kids, hosting barbecues, and making lifelong memories. But this house had its own plans. It started small, as these things often do. Late at night, when the world was quiet, Lisa swore she could hear faint whispers. Mark dismissed it, chalking it up to old pipes or maybe the wind. "Old houses make noise," he said with a shrug. Lisa nodded, but the sound didn't feel like the wind. It felt deliberate, like a conversation just beyond her reach. A week later, the whispers turned into knocks. Random, soft taps in the walls. At first, Mark joked about mice or squirrels. "It's just nature, Lisa. Relax," he laughed. But one night, as they were watching TV, the knocks came louder, more deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. It came from the wall right behind them. Both froze. "Maybe we should check it out," Lisa suggested, her voice shaky. Armed with a flashlight and a newfound determination, Mark went to the basement. The air was heavy, damp, the kind that clings to your skin. He scanned the walls, looking for cracks or holes. Nothing. But just as he was about to head back upstairs, he heard it. A whisper, clear as day. "Help us." Mark's flashlight dropped to the floor, the beams scattering across the room. His heart pounded in his chest. "Who's there?" he shouted. No response. But the whisper hadn't been imagined. He knew that much. He didn't tell Lisa right away. What would he say? That the house was whispering for help? She'd think he was losing it. So he kept it to himself. For a while. The next few days, the activity escalated. Lisa heard footsteps when Mark was at work. Heavy, deliberate steps moving from one room to another. She'd call out, "Mark, is that you?" But there was never an answer. One night, as they lay in bed, something new happened. The whispers came back, louder this time, clear enough for both to hear. A voice from the wall said, "Get out." Mark and Lisa sat up, their hearts racing. The voice wasn't just a sound. It had weight and tension. It was warning them. What would you do in their place? Would you leave right away? Or would curiosity get the better of you? For Mark, curiosity won. He decided to investigate further. He borrowed a tool from a neighbor and began cutting into the wall where the sounds were the loudest. Lisa begged him to stop, but he couldn't. He had to know. The first layer of drywall came off easily. Nothing unusual. But as he went deeper, his hand hit something hard. Not wood, not brick. Metal. "What is that?" Lisa asked, peering over his shoulder. Mark pulled out a small, rusted box. It was sealed tightly, and the lock had long since corroded. With trembling hands, he pried it open. Inside were old photographs, letters, and a diary. The photos showed the house decades earlier, with a family of 5 smiling on the porch. The letters were written in a child's handwriting, each one addressed to the voices. "Dear voices." One letter began, "Please don't hurt Mommy again. I promise to be good." Lisa covered her mouth, her eyes wide. The diary belonged to the mother of the family in the photos. Its entries grew darker and more frantic as the pages went on. There in the walls, One entry read, "They won't leave us alone. What happened to them?" Lisa whispered. The last few entries answered her question. The family had tried to flee, but something kept them trapped. Days later, neighbors found the house empty. No sign of the family ever again. Mark and Lisa's house wasn't just old. It was haunted by its past. That night, as they tried to process what they'd found, the whispers returned, louder than ever. Only now it wasn't just whispers. Screams erupted from the walls, echoing through the house, shaking the very foundation. "Get out!" They ran. They didn't even stop to grab their keys. Outside, gasping for air, they looked back at the house. The windows seemed darker, the air around it colder. The next morning, Mark and Lisa returned with a priest. The man listened to their story, his face growing paler with each detail. He agreed to bless the house, but as soon as he stepped inside, he froze. "The energy here," he said, clutching his cross. "It's angry." The blessing seemed to calm things down for a while. The whispers stopped, and the house felt normal again. But Mark and Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that it was only temporary. Within a month, they moved out, leaving everything behind. The new owners? They lasted 2 weeks before fleeing. The house still stands, empty and silent, but every so often, a neighbor swears they hear voices coming from the walls. So, what do you think? Could you live in a house like that? Or would you leave at the first whisper? If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We bring you tales that keep you up at night, stories that make you question what's real. Don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Who knows? Maybe the next chilling tale will be about